guys, thanks for tuning into sportsreview.com as we head to the weekend. Martin Green joins us to basically have a look at the best value bet across the weekend. Obviously, there's about 40 matches taking place over the top 4 leagues there. So we've broken it down slightly for you guys to take a bet on the matches you like. Martin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, obviously, it's early now. We're in Tuesday's video. It's probably going to be released about Wednesday now. How many bets have you got headed into the weekend that you found so far?
I found quite a number of bets actually. I've probably got 2 or 3 from across all of Europe's top 5 leagues. I was including France in that, which we don't have to do.
All right, no, we can take France as well. Okay, so you've got a couple. I have got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 bets. So we'll start it off with one of mine. I have to say this is my favourite. I wanted to start off with a bang, which is Juventus to beat Lazio. Obviously, Serie A kings. 1.8 bet 365. Obviously, both teams actually kicked off their Serie A campaign well, but Lazio do have a poor record against Juventus, and I think 1.8 is a magnificent bet. What do you like about? Are you as bowled over by that bet as I am?
I had a good feeling that some of our bets would coincide actually, and that's definitely one of mine.
Nice. So you're going for Juventus as well?
I really fancy Juventus to win that one. I think that's a really great price on Juventus, considering the form they're in. They finished last season really well, and they've continued that on into the new campaign. The signings they've made in the summer have been fantastic, and they really seem to have buoyed the players that are already there. And I really fancy them to win this one, despite Lazio's win in the first game as well. I think Juventus could win this quite comfortably, and I'm surprised to see such a high price on them.
Yeah, so was I. That's why this is definitely my value bet. Also, last 4 head-to-heads have 1-0, so that could be if you wanted to sort of squeeze a bit more. I'm not, but you could look into that as well. All right, what's your second bet?
Well, just sticking in Serie A then, I also think that Roma started in fantastic form. They beat Udinese 4-1. Sorry, 4-0, which is a fantastic result. And they're playing Cagliari, and Cagliari lost 3-1 to Genoa in their first game, which was a dreadful result. So you're pitting those 2 teams against each other, and again, there's a really good price on Roma to win this one away. So that would be my second bet.
Yeah, what are the odds have you got for that?
I've got -110 on that, so just under evens on Roma, which is another fantastic price. I think a double on Juventus and Roma looks really good in Serie A.
Yeah, and I did actually that last week as well. That came for me very profitable. I like as well. I like Roma away. I've got one more bet in Serie A actually before we leave this league. Is Napoli to beat AC Milan? Now, obviously, they only managed a 2-2 draw in their opener. I think they'll want to bounce back. They are on their home turf. They came second in Serie A last season. It's low. It's nothing to get too excited about, but I still think there's a touch of value. 1.67 Betfred. They've got a great home record, and I think they're going to want to win their first season match at home. Napoli to beat AC Milan, yes or no?
I was a bit cautious about that one because I think they're missing Gonzalo Higuain, who they sold to Juventus in the summer. They're still a very good side, but I was a bit spooked by that 2-2 draw with Pescara in their first game. So, if pushed, I would probably go for Napoli to win that game, but I was a bit cautious about putting that one in my accumulator.
All right, so only one of us agree on that one, so maybe tread with that betting caution. Again, it's low odds, so maybe find something else. Watford versus Arsenal. Now, again, I'm a little cautious about this one. Arsenal on the road. I just thought, when you see a team like Arsenal against Watford, 1.75 Ladbrokes. Obviously, both haven't won yet. I think Arsenal's going to be really gunning for that win, 1.75. I quite like that bet.
I really like that bet. I think Arsenal they really need to get their first win on the board this season. Last season, they went away to Watford and won 3-1. It was quite a comfortable game. They were dreadful in their first match against Liverpool, but they shored things up a bit in their second game against Leicester. And I think that will continue against Watford. I can see them going and winning away in that. So that looks like a very good bet.
It was almost like Arsenal, obviously, they conceded 4 goals. They scored 3 against Liverpool. Go and play Leicester, not a single goal is scored. I definitely think, they saw a loss, draw, and now they're going to get that win, 1.75 Ladbrokes. What other bets have you got?
I totally agree. Another side that hasn't won yet this season is Leicester, the defending champions. They had a terrible loss to Hull in their first game, then had that 0-0 draw against Arsenal. I think they're also on an upward curve, so I fancy them to get their first win of the season against Swansea at home.
Yeah,
that would be my one bet from the Premier League. I also have my favourite value bet in the Premier League for this round of fixtures is Crystal Palace. They're playing Bournemouth at home, and they're 11-8 to win this, which is plus 137.5. And I think that's a pretty good price. I don't really rate Bournemouth that highly, and I think Crystal Palace will be buoyed by the signing of Christian Benteke, who just joined for £25 million. Wow. I can see them picking up their first win of the season there, and I also fancy Man City, Man United and Chelsea all to win.
Yeah, and talking about the Crystal Palace match as well, I was just previewing that game with Bernardo from the Al Tips. And we liked also sort of both teams to score no or Crystal Palace win to 0, something like that. I think it's going to be a very tight match, but I am expecting their win as well. I like their odds. My final match actually is Man City versus West Ham. Man City and the over 2.5 goals, just purely on the fact that, Man City's scoring machines, they've sort of really, hit the ground running, obviously coming off that sort of huge 4-1 win against Stoke. I think they're going to continue this. I think Man City could score those. I think they could score those goals by themselves. Plus, I think that they could concede a goal. So it's Man City in the over 2.5 goals for me. 1.73. Paddy Power. That rounds off my tips. Have you got anything else?
I couldn't agree more about the Man City game. I think they'll win it either 2-1 or 3-1. So I was looking at spreading my bet across the correct scores there. So no, that brings an end to my Premiership tips. So I would move on to the German Bundesliga, which is starting this weekend. It starts with Bayern Munich defending their crown against Werder Bremen. Yeah. Very, very short odds on Bayern Munich, which is understandable given their dominance. Very short odds, yeah. Yeah. In the last 4 home games Bayern Munich have played against Werder Bremen, they've won... sorry, I wrote it down. They've won 5-0, 6-0, 5-2 and 6-1, which is just a phenomenal record. Yeah. So I'd be tempted to look at the handicaps, and I'd give Bayern Munich a -2 handicap, and then you can get plus 105 on Bayern Munich, which looks a great bet. Or I would go for Bayern Munich and plus 3.5 goals in that game. Nice. Yeah, on that game as well, actually. I'm going to play that game. So you sort of feel, it's the sort of it's their opener match, isn't it? First of the season. Bayern Munich win to 0, 1.75 B win. I was quite surprised by those odds, actually, because they are really low. I think they're about like 1.14, something like that to win, which is incredibly low. They are on the road. Sorry, they're at home. 1.75. I thought that was a really good price. Yeah, I agree. And they've just signed Mats Hummels from Borussia Dortmund, and they're going to pair him with Jerome Boateng, who those two play together for Germany at centre back. And I think that will give them a really solid defensive foundation this season with Manuel Neuer in goal. So I think that winning to 0 looks like a very good bet. Exactly, and their defence was already sort of, like a brick wall anyway. So I feel very comfortable with that bet, Bayern Munich to win to 0. Anything else? One more in the Bundesliga. Last season's runners-up, Borussia Dortmund, I thought had a very good season. They've had a tough pre-season because they've lost 3 of their best players, but they've spent the money wisely. They've got some good players in, and they start their campaign against Mainz, and Mainz finished 5th last season, but they were still 28 points behind Dortmund. I expect Dortmund to win this game outright, so I would back them to win this one outright. I'd also look at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to score at any time. Those look like good bets for me. All right, fantastic. So a whole host of bets there headed into the weekend. Also head on over to sportsbookreview.com. A link is in the description there to Martin's article, which breaks down those bets in a little bit more detail. Martin, thank you so much for joining us.
If you like Captain American football, there's 50,000 dead presidents on the line in this year's Beat the Prick contest. In case you ain't fucking guessed, I'm the prick. Click on the link below for more info. I'm ready to stomp some ass. This is going to be my best performance yet. So join today. It's free, you fucking squares.